Super Talk 99.7 WTN 615-737-9986. Appreciate you being here and also appreciate joining us now, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. Glenn, appreciate you being here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, Dan, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. I also appreciate what you did. You were in the news a few days ago. You sent a letter to President Joe Biden basically saying that you will not be cooperating with his new vaccine mandate executive order that came out a week or so ago. So let's talk about that, because I know that obviously we all know, I mean, I'm a conservative, you're a conservative, so for all of us, we know how controversial and frankly insulting the president's attitudes were. Has there been any pushback from either the Biden administration or from the people in Knox County when you came out and you said in this letter to President Biden that, no, we will not be cooperating with your mandate?
Well, I haven't heard anything from President Biden, as you can imagine. Yeah. And on the other side, of course, I've had both support and been criticized for the letter, depending on where folks are and on the political spectrum. I felt that it was something that had to be done. I objected to the executive order for three reasons. Number one, as the chief executive of an organization that employs 2,700 people, it's going to put additional burdens on us. And of course, just like everyone else, you know, we are out there. We have job openings. We're trying to hire good employees to fill those job openings, and makes it harder for us to do that. In addition, we have the constitutional arguments. As a local authority official, I felt that the president was subverting the authority and the powers delegated to us, actually the powers that are not delegated to the federal government, therefore delegated to us under the 10th Amendment, as well as, of course, circumnavigating the legislative authority of Congress. And then third, I greatly objected to his saying that this is not about freedom or personal choice. In America, it's
I got to tell you, there were so many things that the president said in that one, message, that one speech, whatever it is you want to call it, and they were all just incredibly insulting. And the way that he said it's not about freedom, he really portrayed himself as someone who, at least for me, was incredibly petulant. And I don't know about you, and I'm vaccinated, and folks know that I'm vaccinated, but, right. For a lot of people who are not vaccinated, and I heard from a lot of those folks, they said that there was nothing in the president's speech that would convince them to go off and get vaccinated. And I know that for, someone like you and business owners across not only Tennessee but America, they are kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place, because if they're conservative, they may not necessarily want to mandate that, their employees get vaccinated. Do you think that this was a cover for some of those businesses that did want to mandate vaccinations? This was an opportunity for them to get some cover from the President of the United States.
Well, I can't speak to that. I do know, of course, that the Surgeon General said that their business roundtable that the White House has was all in favor, because, it takes the onus away from them and puts it on government. And, in the pandemic, we saw the same thing with some businesses locally here, where they wanted some regulations because they didn't want to tell their customers, we're doing this of our own volition. They wanted to say, the government is imposing this on us. But on the other side of that, of course, businesses should be able to make their own decisions about things. I think the vaccine mandate, I think that's a little beyond the pale. But nevertheless, when we have things, whatever, like masks and stuff, of course that's up to business to decide. But it should be up to the business. It shouldn't be an imposition from the government. And, what unfortunately we've seen kind of nationally, and we've seen in social media too, it's big tech, is this somewhat incestuous relationship between business and government. And of course there should be separation there if we're still going to say we're a capitalist country. We don't want to be a state capitalist country, because that is socialism or communism. So this is not something that businesses, that the government should be saying, hey, this is the greatest thing ever, because businesses say that.
Well, I think one of the biggest in Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs joining me, writing a letter to President Biden saying, yeah, no thank you to your vaccine mandates and your executive order. And I think that you're right. Part of what the president is doing is he is making it a lot harder for businesses to recover from the coronavirus pandemic and the shutdowns and the lockdowns and everything else. How are businesses in your neck of the woods in Knox County, how are they recovering, and what was their specific reaction to your letter to the president?
Well, here in Knox County, our economy is strong. Across the state of Tennessee, our economy is strong. That's what conservative leadership gets you, and that's what we've had for years in Tennessee, and it's paying dividends. But now we have the federal government coming in and putting their thumb down on us. And yeah, businesses are concerned about this. I mean, you even look at the healthcare industry and hospitals. And, you know, the hospitals are under tremendous strain right now, with staffing. And there are some folks that don't want to get vaccinated. And what this is going to do is it's going to cause a further strain because they're either going to have to fire or they're going to quit or they're going to get fired. And it's all through our economy. I mean, you know, and the military as well. And it's not just the private sector. You know, they have an executive order that the military has to get vaccinated. That could cause some problems there. So it's really, I mean, it's everywhere. But yes, the businesses are struggling to find labor here. You know, we can get into that as far as how the policies of the federal government has really impaired the labor force, and this is just another thing in that direction. Because again, you may have some folks that just aren't going to get vaccinated for whatever reason, and they're not going to go work at a place that requires them to get vaccinated. So that's going to put another burden on those businesses that are required to do this.
Well, and it's interesting. I saw a story, I think it was last week, where there are businesses now, there's a move afoot to have websites that are really geared towards helping folks find businesses that would not require vaccinations, so that if you're somebody who does not want to get vaccinated, then here's a whole list of companies where you can actually go work. We're going to have to stop it right there. Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to speak to you again. If the Biden administration actually does respond, will you reach back out to us and let us know what they say?
I certainly will, Dan. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
All right, have a great day.